Are you going to trial rule changes in fair income games or not?
I think it's unlikely. I mean, I posed the question, I guess, publicly.
You wanted to do it, didn't you?
Well, I probably did. I reckon the way it's running is about 2/3 of people think it's a bad idea and a third think it's a good. And that's my assessment after a couple of days.
So is it going to happen or not?
I reckon anytime people's view about why not is that it actually is a risk to the integrity of the game, means you can't do it. And I personally don't quite see it like that. But if that's what senior people and more importantly the public feel, then there's no way you can do it.
I think the public reaction we've had has been against it, but obviously some in your own office don't like it.
I reckon it's 2/3 against, a third for, basically across the board. That's how I read. And I actually did see. I've seen AFL media guys told me that's how the polling stacks up too.
Well, times have changed. Andrew Dimitrov, he won that he did it, and to hell with everybody else.
I think people have accused that enough of us in the last few years. I think why we posed and why we do it, because clearly some question whether it was an integrity issue, and that's what I think the majority thinks. So I don't think you can do it.
Collingwood-Richmond grand final this weekend.
Big game.
Why can't we have it on free to air?
You're not bad, are you? For everyone listening, Neil's been texting me furiously trying to get on free to air.
Yeah, I said that I want it on free to air, and give Foxtel the Footscray, whoever they're playing, game.
We've got
on Sunday.
A free to air and a paid broadcaster and a digital partner in Telstra. They've got existing contracts. I think it works incredibly well. We have great coverage. This has turned into be a massive game. It just is a Foxtel game on Saturday afternoon. Get to a pub if you don't have Foxtel. Watch it on your phone if you can't get to a pub or a club or a friend's house. And it's sold out. Hopefully all the members turn up, and we have I think it's 1v3, and it's the game we're all hoping it can be.
Oh, look, I hope it's a good game, great game too. I'll certainly be there. But the point remains, if it was on free to air to get 1 million views, probably.
Yes.
It's going to have 200,000.
No, they'll have more than that.
Well, nationally it will, not in Victoria.
Yeah.
That's not good enough. I mean, that means you got 800,000 people disenfranchised, potentially.
No, all 800,000 know they can get to a public venue to watch it at a friend's house or watch it on their phone. And I think people over ins and outs, but there is we have a great set of broadcast arrangements, and I think they work well pretty much all the time.
Oh, I can understand how it's happened. It's been drawn up, August last year, and nobody thought Collingwood would be any good, so no, that's fine. I can understand entirely why it's happened. What I'm arguing for, I guess, is flexibility. Is there not room for flexibility in these arrangements?
They're like Eddie was calling last week for move the game at night. I think you'd get it.
Talk about conflict of interest.
Yeah, well, that's how things roll. But what our supporters like is certainty. I know that. They like the certainty in our fixture. And our broadcasters and others still also, I think, like certain the broadcast arrangements. People understand and know how it works.
Do you really reckon anybody would complain, any in the public would complain if it suddenly went to free to air?
Yeah, well, I said part of the certainty is our broadcasters like to know what's going on as well.
On the broadcasters.
There's a Foxtel game and it'll be on your Telstra app.
And Eddie will be calling it, presumably.
I don't know if Eddie's calling. I reckon Eddie will find a way to be sitting at position 1A where he sits there just screaming and yelling, because it's a big day for Collingwood and a big day for Richmond. We haven't had a home and away game with this sort of mojo for a while, and it's great.
Nathan Buckley met Gold Coast captain Tom Lynch. They're allowed to do that during the season?
Yeah, they're allowed to
do that?
Yeah.
So you don't mind people trying to poach people?
I think people understand, Neil, that this is the livelihood of players, and clubs are in business to get the best list they can. The thing Nathan's a good friend of mine. I said, and I think he expressed some regret. I think that people, when they have those discussions, should be having them quietly, like they've had for decades. And I don't think there's a need to talk about it publicly. People can just have no comment.
Well, what? Well, everybody knows it's going on. No point trying to hide it.
It's like when SEN or Triple M try and poach you. You talk about it quietly. You don't talk about it
public. You sold the footy record to Croc Media. Will they keep the price the same? Any guarantees there?
There's a series of guarantees across the board about that, down to quality of paper and so on. So that I think we've moved back to a third-party contract in publishing. It's been like that 93 out of the 100 years that record's been published. The AFL's only done internally for the last 7, and we feel that it'll be invested in strongly.